What's up, everybody, and welcome into today's video where we will be talking about brutal honesty. This is a life changer. This is a game changer. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the cream. We talk about real estate investing and we talk about personal development because we believe the better you develop yourself to be, the better your real estate business is going to be. That's just the fact of the matter. It all starts within. Everybody, it all starts within. I went years and years and years of putting it out there. I built this channel. Me and RJ, we built this real estate channel. We got subscribers, all this stuff, social media, getting the likes, putting ourselves out there. Meanwhile, right, we're showing all the success with real estate. Meanwhile, internally, suffering with alcohol, suffering with drugs, right? Behind the scenes, behind the curtain, 50 pounds overweight, right? Not being truthful to myself, not being truthful to others. That's the reality of it, right? Constantly seeking external pleasure because of my internal pain. Constantly seeking pleasure outside of me in the things that was causing me pain. That is called a downward spiral. That's called being on a hamster wheel of shame and guilt and regret. And I lived this way for years. I used to wake up in the morning and just literally wanting to kill myself, saying, God, why do I do this to myself? I'm talking like on a Tuesday, showing up to a conference call, a normal 9 a.m. real estate conference call, not even turning on my camera, laying in bed, scratchy voice, because I was hammered the night before. Completely out of alignment with what it is I was saying I wanted to create, and completely out of alignment with this persona that I was putting out online, right? Oh, look how many real estate deals I got. And guess what I was doing, everybody? Building a huge mess because I was raising a bunch of money and I was buying a bunch of houses that I should have never been buying. Buying houses for the sake of looking cool rather than for the sake of the number one thing you should be doing. If you're doing this real estate thing, you should be in this to provide a safe and affordable housing for a profit. What else is there? What are we talking about right now? Or flipping a property for a profit. If you're in business for yourself, profit better be the number one key performance indicator, not how many likes you get and how many comments you get. But due to my own insecurity, I constantly sought out external validation. So it just created a giant mess. And I've spent the last over 2 years completely cleaning up this mess. And this is over 50 properties in foreclosure. I collateralized an entire portfolio to get involved in another deal that I should have never done. $16 million real estate deal that I should have never got involved with. But ego was full in charge. I'm getting involved in everything. Like I was even ready for that. What am I doing, right? It's just all completely gas pedal, ego, not even aware of anything other than how's this going to look, right? So I've spent the last several years, next month it'll be 3 years sober for me, which is great. And I've spent the last several years cleaning up the giant mess that I created due to my insecurity, due to my seeking of external validation. And today I'm going to encourage us all, I'm going to share with you the key to breaking free, literally being free. This is true freedom. Freedom is not sitting on a beach and drinking Mai Tais and, oh my God, I did it. Like there's this finish line. No, because you still got yourself. Even if you're on the beach somewhere and you're celebrating some success or something like that, it's still you with you. You're still constantly going to be overcoming challenges. That's the only way to grow. This personal growth thing does not change, right? You're going to be growing until the day you die. And when you stop growing is when you die, right? If not physically die, you become complacent, you become mediocre, and you might as well be dead at that point. So let's be brutally honest with ourselves. Where are we currently seeking validation from the external? Or where are we currently seeking happiness? Because a lot of us, like I used to, I was seeking happiness in the things that were bringing me pain, right? We have to shift our identity if we are going to live with integrity. We have to shift our identity if we're going to maximize our personal growth. And why are we growing so big? It's not to look cool. It's so we can serve others. Just like they say on the airplane, you got to put your own oxygen mask on before you can save the rest of the plane. It is your life's purpose. I believe we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, right? We're souls, right? What is the purpose of the soul? When do you feel the best? It's when you're helping others. Well, you're going to be able to help the most people when you help yourself first. You have to heal and then help other people heal. This is the point. So let's start by being brutally honest about our behavior. That's the obvious one. What are you currently doing that if other people knew you did this, you might be a little embarrassed? That's a great question. Are you a married man, but you see a thumbnail, you see a beautiful woman pop up, oh, people you might know on Facebook or on Instagram. Ooh, who's this? Ooh, she's attractive. I'm just going to scour people's profiles and I'm just attracted. And okay, if your spouse caught you doing that, is that okay? You might say, oh, yeah, it's all okay. Is it? Okay. If you're being honest with yourself, do it. But ask yourself, are you being honest with yourself? Are you still looking at pornography, right? You still, drinking with the buddies and having conversations and about other women and things like that, drinking alcohol, right? Saying you want to be the best version of yourself, but you can't put down the vape pen, you can't put down the drink, you got to join the fantasy football league, because that's the thing to do. These people, misery loves company. I got to join the crowd, right? Meanwhile, you're taking time away from the people that love you the most and who need you the most, which is your wife and your children, right? Are you some single guy out there and you're just seeking aimless sex, to fill that void inside of you? That used to be me. I'm talking to myself. Everything that I'm saying, from the fantasy football to the drinking to the scrolling to looking at profiles I shouldn't be looking at to the porn, the whole deal. Guess what, everybody? Talking to my old self. We got to break free from all this shit. We must get all of our validation from the work we're putting in ourselves and from the brutal honesty we're giving to ourselves. So how are we going to do it? It starts every single day. You need to start being proud of yourself, genuinely proud of yourself through your actions. Do the right action. How do you know if it's the right action? By the way you feel. If you feel the slightest bit of shame, embarrassment, or regret about what it is that you're doing, it's because it's out of alignment with your true self. This is so easy. Once you just become brutally honest. Become brutally honest with the way that you feel. If you're doing things out there that feel a little bit slimy, it's because it's out of alignment. Stop immediately. And it's not moderation. It's not, I'm going to do this sometimes and I don't do it as much as I used to. And oh, yeah, I gave up the porn, but I'm still, doing this a little bit. At least I don't do this. Justifications and nonsense, everybody. You are putting so much energy into these justifications. You're putting so much energy into justifying your bad behavior, which does not go away. You could run, but you can't hide. You still carry it around. And if you look up right now, the vibrational scale, right? Emotional vibrational scale, many spiritual teachers, especially one of my favorites, Abraham Hicks, talks about it quite a bit. Pull it up online, the vibrational scale of emotions or something like that. You're going to see at the very top, there's enlightenment, love, joy, peace, things like that. At the bottom, I don't know exactly. I know the top is enlightenment, and I know the others behind enlightenment is something along the lines of joy, peace, love. You get the drift. At the bottom, I know for a fact what the bottom two are. I know for a fact what the bottom two are. It's shame and regret. And so many of us are carrying around so much damn shame and regret. And you might be thinking, Dave, oh, I don't have that much shame. I mean, I've never done anything crazy. Sure, I drink a little bit, but I've never gotten in a car accident. I mean, I've never, hurt anybody. I'm not cheating on my wife. I'm not as bad as Tony over there. I'm not as bad as Jim over there. I'm not as bad as these other guys. And right? You may not be carrying around 100-pound shame, but you may be carrying around, and you probably are carrying around 101-pound shames. It's not about this one big moment in your life that you're so shameful about and you can't get over and that you need to heal from. For some people it is. Very few. The vast majority of people are not carrying around this giant 100-pounder. Many people are carrying around 100 1-pounders. And the 1-pounders are all the little bullshit that you keep doing. that you keep justifying because it's not as bad as the other guy. But you know in your heart that this is not the right thing you should be doing. So what we first must do is completely remove all of the things that create any amount of shame and regret. And you might say, "Oh, I only drink a little bit. I don't feel any shame." You don't? Are you being honest? Let's go back to brutal honesty. Are you someone who is in full control all the time? I can handle it. Well, then you got to think about other people. Do you have people that rely on you? Do you have daughters? Would you like your daughters, when they grow up, to be hanging out with a bunch of guys who are getting drunk and they say, hey, they can handle it, this and that, and the alcohol's flying around? It's negative, guys. It's negative. The more you align with negative energy or a low vibration substance like alcohol, it's blocking you from your high vibration results. And everything that you want is on the other side of this negative vibration, right? We must consciously put ourselves in the highest vibration. That's what we already are. You already are a high vibration being, but you lower your vibration through the substances that you put into your body, through the things you put in between your ears, through the gossip, through the politics, through the scrolling, through the bullshit. You are dampening and weakening yourself. You're putting a weighted vest on. You're meant to fly. You're meant to run fast. Your soul, your natural soul energy is one of light, fast, high vibration. But when we partake in this low vibration activities, it puts the weighted vest on. And the weighted vest is comprised of 100 tiny little shameful things that we continue to do. So the first thing we got to do is be brutally honest with ourselves. Where are we currently doing these little shameful events? Remove it all from our life. Then we must replace it all with activities that we are proud of. So now we're getting rid of anything that we're potentially shameful, a little bit shameful, uneasy about, embarrassed about, all this bullshit, and we are replacing it with things that we are genuinely proud of. And the only things that you're really going to be proud of yourself, it's not looking cool. That's all fake. It doesn't last. It is not lasting. It's not how many likes you get. Oh, I'm proud of that post. No. You are only genuinely going to be proud of yourself when you overcome challenges. So we must self-inflict or self-induce challenges into our life through the form of our diet and through our activities and through our workouts. When you do a high intensity workout, high intensity for you, it doesn't need to be somebody else's workout. Push yourself. When you push yourself and you overcome it, you feel good. When you eat food that serves your body and nourishes your body, you feel good. When you eat not so good food, sure, it gives you instant gratification. All right, this is amazing. I love this. Then you fall into a food coma. You know what a food coma is? It's that insulin spike. Your body needs to heal after that because it's not meant to eat like that, right? So when you eat good, you feel proud of yourself. You genuinely, physiologically, you just feel better, right? And then the workouts. I mean, I've never met anybody who did a couple hundred burpees and then, they're just like, oh, this day sucks. No, you're vibing high. I'm telling you, you do these workouts, you break a sweat, you get the oxygen flowing to your brain, you're going to go high five some people. That's how this works. That's why I love group classes and communities that push each other, because when people overcome adversity together, it naturally brings everybody closer because everybody's raising their vibration together. So let's start the day. Where do we start the day? Well, we start the day with the super early, uncomfortable wake-up time. You might be thinking, well, I need my sleep. It's healthy. It's not healthy to not get sleep. Listen, we are built. Pregnant women sleep like 4 hours a night. We don't need a lot of sleep. If you're getting between 5 and 6, you are gold. That's gold. That's gold. Wake up uncomfortably early because that's the very first adversity that you're going to overcome. You're not going to hit the snooze button. Now you're already before your feet hit the damn ground, you're feeling proud of yourself. Congratulations. Now, get right into personal development and brutal honesty and reflection. Now, here's the thing. A lot of personal development coaches and books and things like that, including, things I've read and experienced, they want you to get right into gratitude. I've done these exercises before. Gratitude is very important. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to encourage you to, instead of jumping into gratitude, I'm going to encourage you to jump right into taking a personal inventory or taking a personal, ask yourself a question. It's like, where am I falling from grace? Where do I need improvement? Where do I have a bad attitude? Where am I constantly procrastinating? Where is my character flawed? Where am I being a bitch? That's basically what I ask myself, guys. Like, where am I being weak? Where am I just constantly making excuses? And write that stuff down. Now, when you bring it to the forefront of your mind because you just journaled about it, it takes 30 seconds, guys. I'm not sitting here telling you we're going to read every day. I don't even like to read books anymore. I like to listen to audio. There's a lot of good audio out there. Maybe you're listening to this audio and maybe it's going to inspire you, and I hope it does. That's my purpose of creating this, is to serve others through the pain that I've overcome and continue to overcome every single day. But where do you need to improve? And when you bring it to the forefront of your mind by journaling about it, now when these moments come up that you normally would make a knee-jerk reaction throughout your day, where you normally would procrastinate, where you normally would snap with an attitude, where you normally would, whatever it is, where you need to improve, when it comes up for you throughout the day, you are no longer going to jump right into that knee-jerk reaction. You are now going to be conscious of your behavior. And that is the very first step. That is a powerful place to come from. So now you are observing yourself rather than just drowning in this river of action, like, oh, I'm just doing things for knee-jerk purposes. No, you're breaking the habit of being yourself, like Dispenza talks about. That's what this is. So in the morning, wake up early. You just overcame adversity. You're starting to feel proud of yourself. Write down a few things that you know you need to get better at, character things or actions that you're still doing. How do you know you need to improve? If you feel any amount of embarrassment, shame, or guilt about it, it's got to go. Write it down. Now, when these moments come up for you in your life, you're going to be conscious and you're going to be aware. Make sure you get the workout in for the simple reason. We're not trying to be bodybuilders here. We're not trying to be fitness models here. Guys, we just need to get the blood moving and get the oxygen moving, but make it a daily routine. Physiologically, you are going to improve yourself in your state of mind by breathing oxygen. It's so obvious. This is the most simple thing. Pay attention to the food that we're putting in as well. Pay attention to the way you feel. If you're constantly eating pizzas and beers and all this bullshit, how do you feel after that? Or maybe you eat a good chicken salad or a good wrap, something that's going to give you protein, something that's going to keep you light on your feet, keep that vibration high. Pay attention to the food that you're ingesting. Pay attention to all content that you're ingesting. Set boundaries for yourself. Anything that does not serve you, I'm talking politics, I'm talking about, looking at people from the opposite sex, looking at anyone that you're judging, anyone you're jealous of, anything that doesn't, you shouldn't be doing or that you can't control, don't let it control you. If you can't control it, you don't let it control you, right? So focus on the content that you're ingesting. There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of great stuff. I try to bring my best every single day with these videos, right? And then, of course, remove any and all vices. The definition of a vice is anything that causes any bit of shame and regret. Start to be brutally honest with yourself on the way that you act. Start to be brutally honest with yourself on your current actions. Stop justifying behavior and saying, well, I'm not as bad as so-and-so. Stop comparing yourself to anybody. Only compare yourself to yourself. Only report above, to your conscience, to the higher power, to God, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's the same damn thing. Only report there. And based on this inner conversation that you're constantly, this dialogue that you're constantly having, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. So just do it. No more justification. Be brutally honest, everybody. I will see you tomorrow, and let's make it a great day.